Welcome to Functional Print Friday, where every week we design something practical that you can 3D print and actually use. Today, we're jumping into Fusion 360 to design a shower soap dish, a simple, functional print to keep your soap dry and your shower organized. If you like useful 3D prints and step-by-step design tutorials, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future builds. All right, let's hop into Fusion 360 and start modeling this soap dish.
Good morning and welcome to Functional Print Friday. Today we're going to focus on three basic functions: rectangles, fillets, and extrusions. And you can see how with those three simple commands, you're going to be able to do something like create a soap dish. So here we go. First step is let's go ahead and create a sketch. I start on the base plane. Select 2-point rectangle, and we are going to make the measurements 2.26 by 4.52. Keep in mind that this is inches instead of millimeters. That is something that I prefer is inches, so that's what I'm going with. You'll need to make adjustments for yourself if you're using millimeters. From here, we're going to create an offset. I'm selecting the entire perimeter of that square, and I'm going to make the offset 0.3, for that's the thickness of the walls I want to generate. From here, I can either click the extrusion button from clicking over to solid, or I can just push the E button. I'm going to select the wall. I'm going to make that wall 0.75 inches tall. When I do that, you're going to notice that your sketch diagram does disappear. We need that back in order for us to create the base. So I'm going to go ahead and select the eyelet on sketches. And now I can click on the base, click extrude again, or E, and I'm going to select 0.1. That's going to give me my base. Now we're done with the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck the eye so that goes away. From here, we're going to go ahead and try to make this look a little softer. So we are going to, actually first we're going to go ahead and create a rounded edge on the bottom so that way any water that gets inside of there will not click around the edges. So for that, we're going to use the fillet command, which you can either push this button in the toolbar or push the Ep key. I'm going to go ahead and stop this line. We're going to go with 0.1, so it's just a very basic curvature. I'm going to do the same for all the way around. In order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Shift key when I do this. So I'm going to just hold down the Shift keys and select all four of them heads. Almost like 0.1, and you're going to see that it makes all four edges rounded out. Go ahead and push OK. Now let's go ahead and round out the interior portions again to give it a nice look. So I'm going to go ahead and push Ep again for fillet. And we're going to go ahead and try to pull this in and look for what looks good. I'm going to go ahead and go with 0.25. We're going to repeat this for all four corners. Okay, now we needed to go ahead and round out the outside as well. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and select one of these corners by pushing F for fillet. And I'm going to select the corner. Now I'm going to go and look at a top here so I can get an idea of what would look good as we round this out. So I'm going to take this arrow, I'm going to drag this in. And to me, 0.6 looks about the best we're going to get. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. And now I'm going to do the same for the other three corners. So I'm going to click F for fillet, type in 0.6, and work my way around. Good. Now if you look at it from the top, we're going to notice that we have a nice rounded looking soap dish. So for the final part, I want to go ahead and round off the tops. So I'm going to push the F button again for fillet. And I'm going to select the edge, and you can see the corners have all rounded out. And now we're going to go ahead and try to drag this out. Let's go ahead and go with 0.15. Let's give that a shot, see how that looks. Now let's do the same for the outside edge. Let's drag that in as well. So you see if you go 0.2, it does something really odd. And if you drag this down to 0.5, it doesn't look real good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and cancel out of this. We're going to take a step back and get rid of that edge line that we have. And let's try to go with something a little bit smaller. So instead of 0.15, let's try 0.1. And now if we fillet the outside again, and see if we can make this look a little better. So 0.15 now allows us to have round out the edges on the outside, which ends up giving us this look, which is what we're looking for. Okay. Now for the final part, we need to add drains to the bottom of this because if not, sitting in a shower, this is going to just collect water and it's just going to sit there. So we want to mix in artistic looking drains. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and click create. We're going to create a box. We're going to create a box inside of here. And right now, it doesn't really necessarily matter exactly where it's placed because we know the measurements, or we're going to move it around afterwards. So it's going to be the width is going to be 0.25, and then the length is going to be 1.25. Actually, that's not quite long enough, so let's go with 1.5. Now, the important part here is, see how it says join? We do not want to select that because that'll not allow us to move it around over duplicates. So we're going to hit the arrow down, we're going to select new body. And select OK. Now, if we expand body, we can see that this has its own body in itself. So let's go ahead and move this thing around a little bit to get where we want. But first, before we move it, let's go ahead and turn this at a slight angle to give it a little bit better looking design. So let's go for 15 degree tilt. Looks good to me. And what we're going to do now is we're going to try to duplicate this a few times. So how to do that, I'm going to go ahead and right click on that body, move copy, and I'm going to check the box, create copy. When that happens, I can take this arrow and I can go ahead and drag this over a little bit. So we know the distance I'm dragging is 0.7, so we won't always keep this space identical all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and move and copy that. I'm going to do it again, move copy, check create copy. And I'm going to move that, and we're going to do this a handful of times. Now, there's another option we can use to duplicate this. That's a little bit easier, but that'll be for another video. Okay, now that that's done, we need to keep an eye on, does this look centered? It looks like we might be a little bit high here. So what we want to try to do is move these down just a smidge. So we notice that it's going in 0.1 increments. And we notice if we go 0.1 now, it's too close over here. So we're going to go and go with 0.05. That should center us a little bit better. So we can go ahead and finish the rest of these. If we right click and say move copy on here, we need to actually select bodies instead. That's why I typically just go over and right click on the toolbar on the left and select move. It just kind of eliminates a step. Okay, this next step, this looks good. So the next step we're going to do, and it's really important to do, because if we don't do it, it will cause some joining to happen that we don't want to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and make our soak dish disappear, and we're going to just focus on these lines. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to click the E for extrude, and we're going to go ahead and pull this out 0.15. And we're going to do it for these 3 center ones on both sides. Go ahead and go and orbit around. Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead and go back to our talk to you. And we will make our soap dish reappear. That looks pretty good. So from here, we're going to go ahead and make our cuts now. So we're going to use our extrude command in order to make the cuts. So the best way to do this, I'm going to go ahead and kind of tilt this just a little bit. I'm going to click extrude. So I'm going to select this and just drag this arrow down. Do it for the rest of these. Okay, from here that looks great, but there's one thing we're missing. It would make it look a little better if we rounded out all of these edges on here to give it a little lighter design. So in order to do that, we're going to utilize the fillet command again. So I can either click this toolbar on the top or push the Ep key. I'm going to select this line, and we're going to go ahead and pull this in and figure out what looks good to us. I think 0.125 looks pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and try that. And just to make sure that looks like a good rounded edge, we're going to go and go the other side and do the same again. And you can see that's perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and select all of these lines. So I'm going to hold, again, a little shift key. Push the Alt key for fillet. Type in 0.125. It automatically rounds out all of those edges. So we're going to go ahead and do that for all 4 corners. So again, select, hold shift key, select the rest of the lines. Push F, type 0.125. Now we're going to go and spin it around. Do it again. So select the line, hold shift. Push F, type 0.125. Now that's spinning around. Doing it. And there you have it. Here is now our perfectly created soap dish for a shower, created in less than 10 minutes.
Hey guys, do not mind me, just fresh out of the shower. But I have got to tell you about this soap tray.
No more soap slipping into the tub and me chasing after it. Trust me, that was not a good look.
I know it's weird to vlog here, but this tray, look, it actually keeps my soap from slipping all over the place. So yeah, don't laugh, but this 3D printed soap tray, it's changed my shower game.
All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more functional prints.